The latest news about BTS members Jungkook and Jimin has shocked and emotionally affected armies worldwide. Instead of just being happy news about their return from military service, the latest update carries a deep sense of sadness. What actually happened? Why is the return of these two BTS members not only met with joy, but also with such great anxiety? Since joining the 5th Division of the South Korean military in December 2023, Jungkook and Jimin have lived a life completely different from the glamorous stage they used to enjoy. Intense physical training, strict rules, and mental pressure have become part of their daily lives. Despite this, both are known to be able to adapt well. Jungkook, with his tenacious personality, is even said to be one of the most adaptable soldiers. Meanwhile, Jimin, known for his friendly and supportive nature, always tries to provide moral support to his colleagues. However, behind these positive stories, there is another, darker reality. Some reports mention that their mental and physical condition during military service is not as smooth as it seems. Jungkook is said to have experienced difficult times at the beginning of his training. As a global idol, the transition from a life of complete freedom to a rule-bound environment is certainly not easy. Some sources mention that he had difficulty sleeping due to psychological pressure. Jimin, known for being very caring towards those around him, is said to have often been seen trying to cheer Jungkook up so that he could stay strong. When news spread that they would be completing their military service in June 2025, Army's reactions were varied. On the one hand, there was unbridled happiness because they could finally return to the entertainment world. But on the other hand, there was great anxiety. Are Jungkook and Jimin ready to return to a world full of pressure after almost 2 years in a completely different environment? As top K-pop idols, the pressures of the entertainment industry are not to be taken lightly. Even before entering military service, Jungkook and Jimin had experienced very busy schedules with extraordinary expectations from the public. Their return will certainly be met with great enthusiasm, but also with high expectations. Will they immediately return to the studio and prepare new music? Or will they need time to adjust to normal life before returning to the spotlight? Some fans expressed their concerns through social media. One ARMY wrote, "We're happy they're coming back, but we're also worried if they're okay. We want them to rest first before going back to work." This concern is not without reason. Previously, some BTS members who had completed military service also admitted that transitioning back to the entertainment world was not easy. Jin, who was the first BTS member to complete his military service, once revealed that he needed time to readjust to his routine as an idol. In addition, another big question is when BTS will return as a full group. With the return of Jungkook and Jimin, the number of members who have completed military service is increasing. However, some other members like RM, V, and J-Hope are still serving their duties. Bang Si-hyuk, founder of HYBE, had previously stated that BTS would reunite after all members had completed their military service. This means that a full group comeback may not happen until 2025 or even later. However, amidst this uncertainty, speculation about major projects being prepared by HYBE is increasing. Some sources mention the possibility of a documentary project that will feature Jungkook and Jimin's journey during their military service. If this is true, then ARMY will get a deeper insight into their experiences over the past almost 2 years. In addition, rumors about the potential release of new solo music from both of them are also getting stronger. More surprisingly, some fans have even prepared a grand welcome for them. In South Korea, a number of armies plan to gather near the 5th Division headquarters to welcome Jungkook and Jimin when they officially complete their duties. Banners with emotional messages like, "Jungkook and Jimin, we miss you," are being prepared. Even some fans abroad are said to have rented giant billboards in strategic locations, including Times Square in New York, to celebrate their return. But amidst this enthusiasm, another big question arises. Will Jungkook and Jimin immediately return to the entertainment world, or will they choose to rest longer before returning to the stage? Given the enormous pressure of the K-pop industry, Not a few fans hope that they will be given enough time to readjust before facing a busy schedule and high expectations from the public. But in fact, some mental health experts highlight how important this transition phase is for K-pop idols who have just come out of military service. They remind us that the sudden change from a disciplined military life to a fast-paced entertainment world can be a major challenge, both physically and mentally. Therefore, many hope that HYB will give them enough time before returning to the entertainment industry. But on the other hand, some speculation suggests that the BTS comeback may not be too far away. With more and more members completing their military service, some music industry analysts speculate that HYB is already planning something big. Although the exact date has not been announced, anticipation for BTS's return as a full group is increasing. At this point, all ARMY can do is wait and support the best decision for Jungkook and Jimin. Their return from military service is certainly a very emotional moment for fans. But more than just returning to the stage, their well-being is the most important thing. Whether they immediately return with a big project or choose to take a break for a while, one thing is for sure: ARMY will always be there for them, every step of the way. While the excitement of welcoming Jungkook and Jimin's return is increasingly felt among ARMY, there is one question that cannot be ignored. Does all this news truly reflect their true condition? Or is there an element of media manipulation that deliberately shapes a certain narrative in order to attract public attention? In today's digital age, information spreads so quickly, often without adequate verification. Many news items related to Jungkook and Jimin are circulating on platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and other online media. Most of this content is produced from an emotional and dramatic perspective, creating the impression that their return from military service is a moment full of tension and emotion. But let's ask deeper. How likely is it that this is just a narrative shaped by the media to increase engagement? Imagine this: a TikTok video with millions of views showing snippets of Jungkook looking tired during military training, accompanied by melancholic background music and a caption like, "Is Jungkook okay?" ARMY needs to know this. Then, on Twitter, a long thread appears mentioning that Jimin is experiencing mental difficulties due to military pressure, but without any real evidence to support the claim. How likely is it that all of this is just speculation amplified by the media and fans themselves? We cannot ignore the fact that the Korean entertainment industry has a long history of creating narratives that evoke public emotions. Dramas about idols facing heavy pressure, stories about their sacrifices during military service, and various other issues are often raised to build a deeper emotional connection between artists and fans. But is it always based on facts? Or is this a very clever marketing strategy? If we go back to the basic facts, information about Jungkook and Jimin's condition during military service is still very limited. Not many official sources really provide an accurate picture of their daily lives. Most of the news we get comes from indirect reports, from fellow soldiers who happen to see them, from brief statements from HYB, or even from video clips uploaded on social media. Can we fully trust these sources? Let's reflect for a moment. If the news we are reading now turns out to have elements of manipulation or exaggeration, what is the impact on us as fans? Does this make us more connected to Jungkook and Jimin, or does it play with our emotions? As ARMY, we certainly want the best for the BTS members. We want to believe that Jungkook and Jimin are okay, that they are serving their military service healthily and happily, and that they will return to the entertainment world with renewed enthusiasm. However, if the narrative shaped by the media emphasizes the dramatic side rather than the facts, wouldn't that create unnecessary anxiety? Of course, that doesn't mean we should completely ignore the news circulating. However, we must learn to distinguish between factual information and mere speculation. In a world full of clickbait news and media manipulation, critical thinking is a skill that every fan should have. For example, do you remember the various rumors that circulated about BTS in the past? There was news that they would disband after military service, which turned out to be false. There was also speculation about internal conflict within the group, which also proved to be just gossip. This shows that not everything we see in the media can be fully trusted. Therefore, amidst the excitement of welcoming Jungkook and Jimin's return, let's remain vigilant in absorbing information. We can support them without getting caught up in narratives that may not be entirely true. Finally, we want to invite you to discuss. Do you really believe that Jungkook and Jimin's current condition is as bad as reported? Or is this just a media strategy to attract fans' attention?